S13 update. Engine's out, manual gearbox bolted up, and the manual loom is on. One thing to note is that the bolts from the auto gearbox do not fit. They're all different lengths and too short. Somehow the manual gearbox bolts are longer, so these have some VW bolts are hard. These are cut down BMW bolts for the starter motor, and I've still used some of the original bolts. While the engine is out, I think I'm going to do the timing belt, because God knows how old that is. And while I'm at it, do the thermostat, do the belt and the water pump. Obviously I need to order all of that stuff still. Now the S13 itself, the chassis, as you can see, everything's primed, majority of the stuff's primed. Obviously I ground down all the seam sealer and the stone chip protection stuff. I'm still got a bit to do in the tunnel and the passenger side chassis rail, but that is looking pretty mint, if I say so myself. Obviously still got to do seam sealer and stuff, but I want to prime everything first and then do the seam sealer next and then paint and whatnot. So one step at a time and trying not to skip jobs like I tend to do quite often. So I start one thing, then start another thing, and then I have 30 unfinished things. So moving forwards, I had to replace the radiator support because that was fairly rotten, and excuse the wind. So that was the panel, as you can see, it's terrible. So that has been replaced, and that's solid, not going anywhere. Just got to drill out some holes for the radiator, which I'm going to do next. However, the engine's out obviously, which is something that happened since the last update. And the main reason for the engine out is so I can grind down these welds. Probably do a bit of stitch welding along there. Obviously need to replace that little section, which is going to be fairly straightforward. And then yeah, grind down as much as possible and rust treat stuff when need be, and drill out any bolts that have snapped, rethread them and whatnot. So yeah, good progress. Next up, dropping the subframe and cleaning up the engine bay. Let's crack on. Well, the engine bay is primed with the first coat. I've never experienced red mist as I did with this. I managed to get plenty of runs here and here. I don't know if you were able to see. Literally got red mist in my eyes and did a full send and sent it a bit too hard. Forgot to adjust the flow of the fluid coming out, and there was just way too much coming out. Then once I realised what I was doing, I was like, what an idiot. Adjusted the flow and the rest came out a lot better. Still a few runs around spots where hard to cover, so I can understand why some of the runs are there, but literally that's not going to be visible. That I'm going to sand down, but most of it won't be visible. Nothing behind the engine will be visible, and I can sand this down and can sand this down. So realistically nothing tragically wrong, but yeah, for some reason I was really nervous about spraying it. So I'm going to wait another 10-15 minutes and give it another coat, and then I can sand it down tomorrow after work. And then seam sealer, let that dry, and hopefully going to be in acrylic primer tomorrow. But it looks way better than rusted. Whew, would you look at that? Painted, clear coated, very red, very shiny. Literally just finished clear coating. I don't know if you can see, but there's still a lot of lacquer flying around. Can't really see on camera. Yeah, camera's not picking it up. But yeah, DIY job, obviously not perfect. Few little pieces of dirt, probably from the floor because I didn't put any water down or anything like that. Probably should have done it. Had a few issues with the paint gun, mainly the mainly the little thing at the top was blocked up, so it was a bit dry with paint, I think, and also with the clear coat. So few learning curves. Jesus Christ, I'm all covered in paint. Overall, couldn't be happier, if I'm honest. It looks all nice and red. That all is nice and red. Obviously all of this is going to be covered in stone chip. Probably tomorrow when it's all dry. I will have to cover up a lot of the holes so that the spray from inside doesn't go into the engine bay and doesn't ruin it. But it'll be interesting to see what it's like when it's dry. Probably going to be able to tell the end look in about an hour or two. But on this note, I'm going to end this video. Probably need to clean the camera. Overall, really good achievement. Obviously, it's nice to see stuff getting to look nicer, fresh, painted. Next up, engine needs to go in. Obviously, the stone chip stuff. I ordered a new timing belt kit and water pump for the engine, so that's going to be refreshed. I'm not going to clean up the suspension all too much because it's not restoration, but engine bay I just had to do because obviously I welded into it, so it is what it is. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the progress of this S13 as much as I am. Peace.